Facing nationwide boycotts, worldwide ridicule, moral recoil, what do? Well, if you're Arizona, it's rebranding time. And that's ahead, including some helpful suggestions from you, our viewers, for how the Copper State can shine up its current sickly verdigris image that is coming up. But first, a couple of holy mackerel stories in today's news. Considering what is going on in the Gulf of Mexico right now, you might think that this would be the worst possible time to ask the government's permission to start new offshore drilling. That sort of thinking would disqualify you from being an oil executive. A federal appeals court gave Shell Oil the all clear yesterday to drill 5 wells at 2 locations about 75 miles off the coast of Alaska, in waters with some of the fiercest storms in North America, in a place where moving sea ice could mean that there is no credible, effective means of cleaning up any oil spill in the area, no effective means known to man. But Shell says, don't worry, this drilling is going to be totally different than that drilling with all the mechanical failures you keep seeing on your TV machine these last couple of weeks. For one thing, the company says it has tested the blades that would cut the drill pipe in an emergency. No mechanical failures anticipated there because, quote, to address the fresh safety concerns, Shell is now considering a second test. That's 2 tests, people, not 1, 2 tests. Even more, if something miraculously does go wrong, Shell says a response ship will be right nearby. Because that, of course, has made all the difference in the Gulf of Mexico disaster. It's all fine down there because there are ships. But don't worry, be happy. Alaska's far away, underwater drilling is no big deal, and Shell promises to be extra safe. Our government responded to this ruling on Shell by manning up and sending the company a very strongly worded letter. It said, quote, we request that Shell provide detailed information with respect to additional safety procedures that the company is proposing to undertake in light of the Deepwater Horizon disaster. Oh, snap. The Interior Department will make its final decision on Shell's drilling project in Alaska after the White House reviews its offshore drilling safety report. This new drilling by Shell could begin as early as this summer. Until then, try not to think about what a BP-style disaster might be like to deal with in the frozen north. Perhaps you might distract yourself with the knowledge that 710 space 77345 will always and forever spell Shell Oil upside down on your calculator. Today, one of the most shocking headlines on the Gulf oil disaster was that some independent scientists are saying the size of the gusher, the rate at which oil continues to pour into the Gulf, could be 10 times the amount that BP and the government have been using as an estimate. BP says it would like to stick to the old estimate, duh, and besides, it doesn't really matter exactly how big the leak is. Their job is still to shut it down no matter what, which is true. But if we really are dumping the equivalent of 1 Exxon Valdez spill into the Gulf every 4 days, as some scientists say is possible, then containment and cleanup's going to be a bigger job by an order of magnitude than what they had been expecting. And that's BP's responsibility, too. Today, in an interview with the Guardian newspaper in Britain, the chief executive of BP tried to look at the disaster from a rather different perspective, a more comforting perspective. He told the paper, quote, the Gulf of Mexico is a very big ocean. The amount of volume of oil and dispersant we are putting into it is tiny in relation to the total water volume. In other words, the Gulf of Mexico is very big. So big, I would like you to confuse it with an ocean. And if you think of it like an ocean, it won't seem like there's really all that much oil in there at all. Also, compared to your whole body, that tumor is very tiny. It's literally a very tiny proportion of your total body mass. Don't worry about it. You are mostly tumor-free by volume.